Welcome to the Eczema Podcast. In today's episode, I have a really great guest on the show today. She's gone through really severe eczema to the point where she was bedridden, and it really affected her life and her job. And she's here today to share more about her story and how she overcame the severe eczema. And today she's on our show, and you can see that her skin looks really good, and she's able to wear even short sleeves and sleeveless shirts, whereas before it was covered everywhere over her arms and her face, and she had it in different parts of her body. So just really, really glad to have you here today, Hadil, and really looking forward to hearing you share your story today.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you. It's honestly an honor to be a part of the podcast. And I just wanted to say or wave to myself, to the version of myself that used to meditate and visualize being on this podcast and telling my story because that's how I found you. And it honestly feels so surreal just living that visualization.
Yeah, can you believe that? I can't believe that you actually visualized being
Yeah,
here and sharing your story, and now you're actually here. So
I know.
that's amazing.
Being in this in like complete scenario in this room talking to you and telling you my story, it just I feel like I've this entire scenario I've manifested it.
Wow. And you did that when you were bedridden, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. And when you had the rashes covering your body and
yeah.
over your face too.
I was completely bedridden, and I ran across your podcast with another one of your patients, and I think that it was a sign from God. I listened into that podcast and I listened to that girl tell her side of the story, and she was on the other side. And I'm like, oh my God, I just want to be on the other side telling my story. And one day I'm going to do it. And honestly, I'm a very shy person. So for me to even visualize being on a podcast, like that could never be me. If you told me that, I would maybe a year ago, I would say that could never be me.
Wow. And look at you now. You're here. You look so
Yeah.
good, and your skin looks like it's glowing. How
Thank
many percent would
you.
you say your skin has improved by?
I want to say maybe 99%. The only thing is, I have a little bit on my arm, but it's not even inflamed. It doesn't irritate me, and I'm still working on healing it, but 99% healed,
Wow.
thankfully.
We had actually worked with Hadil, and when we first met you, your skin was in a much different place, and it was really severe. And I remember you had come onto a lot of our calls and group calls as well, and you had shared that you were having a hard time. And I think were there
Yeah.
infections often as well?
Infections? Maybe in the beginning, I probably did, but
Oh, I
to
think I
be
remember
honest,
what it was. There were flares, and then I remember at times like there would be that panic about the flares, which is something we all
yeah,
get when
yeah.
when we flare up.
And I remember one of the times in those community calls, which I think, by the way, are so, so powerful. I think that played a huge part in my healing, but we'll get to that after. One of the times that I was on the community calls, I asked you if it was okay to use one of the immunosuppressants, the Protopic, because I could not move. And I was so embarrassed to ask. I was crying. I was honestly in tears saying, I need to get some sort of relief. And honestly, the way you handled it, you said, it's okay. You can use it. Like, we'll taper you off. Like, you don't need to worry. And anything that gives you relief. I'm like, okay, I'm in the right place because the previous naturopath that I had spoken to had said that I should stay away from all of these, and it was so difficult. It was so painful. So just having that, um, feeling like someone was carrying the weight with me felt so much better. Like I felt like it wasn't such a burden. I feel like maybe I'm not putting that in the right words, but I didn't feel like I had to figure it out all by myself. I had you and your team help me, so um, I'm super thankful for that.
Oh, that really means a lot. And for sure, like anytime if someone comes to us and if like their doctor recommends them something or they're thinking about, going back on a medication, there's never any judgment.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that if you need to use it in order to get relief and to survive, then that's something that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
And, we can always work with you and your doctors as well, who can help taper you off of it. And we've seen, even when our clients have been on the medications and they've seen improvements, they have been able to work with their doctors to taper it off. And yeah, they usually see improvements on our protocols. So it's nice that that's what happened with you as well. And it seems like you don't need Protopic anymore, right? Because your skin has been
Definitely not. And I think the last time I used it was December, and that was the time where I was crying, saying like, please, I need to. And that was the last time I did, because after December, I hit like a turning point in my healing journey where everything was just getting better. So I just didn't touch it after, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
And that was near the end of my second protocol.
Oh, wow. So how long did you end up using the Protopic for? And did you stop because your skin improved on our protocols?
It was a little bit of both. So I used Protopic maybe for about 3 months. And near December, I didn't see, it was really, really hard for me to see any change or difference because Protopic was kind of covering it. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to stop using it. I'm going to try to suck it up and see how bad it is. And if it gets better, then, the protocols are working, and then I'm just not going to touch it again. And that's exactly what happened. I stopped touching it around December, like maybe early December. And then my skin was slowly starting to get better. So I just didn't touch it after that. It was just so hard to see.
Yeah, for sure. I had also used Protopic a lot when I was a lot younger too, but I completely understand. Like, we want to be able to get off the medications and just use our way inside out approach where we can use the alternative ways to heal and get better. And it looks like that's what you were able to successfully do, and your
Yeah.
skin looks really good now as well.
Thank you. I definitely did hit like a rebound effect from Protopic, unfortunately, because I did use Hadeel as well, which is a different immunosuppressant, and I did use steroids before that. So it was just using different things, trying to figure out what would help me. So when I started using Protopic, as soon as I would stop, it would quickly come back, as they usually do. So I just didn't want to be on that rebound roller coaster anymore. So I just stopped using it.
That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, and for those listening, there is also a Facebook group, I believe, for Protopic and Eczema, and because that line of medications has also caused withdrawal symptoms in some people. So on Facebook, there actually are the Facebook groups for it as well,
Yeah.
in case anyone wants to check it out. But Hadil, take me back to the very beginning. When did your eczema first start, and what was it like to live with it for so many years?
Yeah. So I had eczema as a baby. So growing up with eczema, it kind of came and went for me. It was always mild, except for when I was a baby. But as I grew up, it became more and more mild. I had a little bit on my arms and then underneath my eyes, which was annoying, but it was still manageable. But the past year, everything completely changed. Like I was in the perfect storm. I was under extreme stress. My nervous system was completely dysregulated. I wasn't eating well. I was probably getting like 3 hours of sleep. I really put myself on the back burner. And I didn't realize how stressed I was. So this flare changed everything for me. It wasn't a normal flare. It covered up maybe 80% of my body, and I felt like my skin was on fire. I probably thought that maybe I'm not really getting to how I was in pure agony. It was so debilitating. So even saying my skin felt like fire, it doesn't even come close to what I was feeling.
What would you say your skin was feeling like during that time?
I'd say, imagine you had a sunburn and then you had insect bites all over, and then a mix of chicken pox. Like,
Oh no.
it's a mix of everything that honestly, I wish that I wasn't in this body anymore, which is a lot coming from someone that was super optimistic. Um, but yeah, that it was really brutal. It was painful. And I never thought I would get to a point where my entire body would be filled with eczema. I knew my body was speaking to me when I joined eczema. To be honest, I didn't know anything about eczema because it was always so mild. Until I had this flare and I joined Eczema Conquerors and I went through all of your
The
what were they
videos?
called?
The
Yeah, the
online?
videos. They're so educational. I didn't know. I realized I knew nothing about eczema because I'm like, okay, why do I get eczema and nobody else does? And then it's like, no, everybody has, like, their body speaks to them in a different way, and my way is through eczema, and that's how like my body tells me there's something wrong. So this was the flare that really changed my life, to be honest with you.
Wow. Yeah, I know you went through so much, and that was just a glimpse, but you went through that every day for a long time as well.
And it's like you count the day hour by hour because you just want to get through the day, and even sleeping, you don't even get much sleep through it too.
For
You're
sure.
just
Yeah. I remember when my sleep felt really messed up because I would be able to sleep, but only at like 2, 3, or 4 a.m. And then I would have to
yeah,
sleep till like sometimes almost like noon just to get my sleep in. And yeah, I felt like I was living in a
yeah,
different time
every
zone.
truly, you couldn't even escape it. Like, there was no way, like, sometimes you could sleep off something to escape it, but we weren't even getting any sleep. Like, I lost 20 pounds in the process too. My lymph nodes were this big. I
Wow.
honestly thought that God forbid, I thought I had like a really, the C word. I don't want to say it out loud, but I honestly was so afraid. So yeah, it played a huge role. This flare was really bad.
I also had a lot of swollen lymph nodes as well. So I always used to get those fears because I had to monitor it with ultrasound for like every 6 months just to make sure that it
Oh,
was okay. But yeah, it turned out they said that it was just like from the flares.
thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you go online and you start reading things and they're like, oh, it's probably lymphoma. And you freak out and then you start demanding these tests that not a lot of people are ready to, test you with. So
For
it was
sure.
scary.
So for yourself, would you say what were the biggest moments when eczema impacted your life in a big way, whether socially, professionally, or even just with leaving the house?
Yeah, I think all of it all at once. It was a lot in such a short amount of time. Professionally, I had to take time off work. Like, I had no other choice. Before, when it was still mild, leading up to this massive flare, I did think about taking some time off work just to deal with everything that was going on with my body. And I kept pushing it off, and I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, I need to get back to work until my body really forced me into taking this time off. I really had no more choice. Um, Socially, I did isolate myself very much. I didn't want to see anybody anymore. I didn't want to see anybody see me in this stage. I felt vulnerable and weak and nervous. I had so much anxiety, a lot of social anxiety. Like, I even walking outside and throwing the garbage and seeing some lady, she was talking to me and I just broke into hives. Or even talking to some of your team members, explaining myself. I don't know why I would get so nervous and I would break into hives. Or talking to Ben the first time, I would break into hives. So it really, really did impact me in that way.
Wow, that's really tough. And I can relate to a lot of what you shared as well, because not only does this condition affect your self esteem, but it also affects our self worth and how we feel about ourselves. And I also felt really nervous when I would see people outside too, or even like whenever the sunlight would hit my skin. Even if I was in the house, I would still like start to feel nervous and anxious when the sun hit my skin. So yeah, a lot of those feelings definitely came up.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to be seen. Like, you don't want to, even though you're not being seen, I just didn't want to be perceived by anyone. I didn't want anyone to ask me, So even you saying hitting, like the sun hitting you, it's like, oh, I'm being perceived like I need to go in the dark dungeon
Yeah.
and just hide and not have anyone see me or talk to me.
That's the way I felt too. Was like that feeling of just not wanting to be seen and to hide so that no one would see what my skin looked like, and it was definitely tough to go through that.
Yeah, 100%.
And so for yourself, what would you say were some of the things you tried to do on your own to fix your skin in the past, even before we started working together?
Honestly, what did I not try? I think I was writing down a list the other day of everything that I've tried because I was just going off. And I think, okay, first I went to a bunch of doctors. To be honest, I probably went to about maybe 14 doctors. Just I was so
Wow.
desperate for help. I went to immunologists, allergists, family doctors, different walk-in clinics, just to see if I can get tested. I'm like, maybe it's fungal, maybe it's something else. Like it's not in the right places where it's always been. And unfortunately, all of them had the same 5-minute protocol where they give you steroid creams and they'll just tell you, oh, like you have to live like this. I remember going to an allergist one time. Oh no, actually, I went to a dermatologist one time, and I remember I was like in full body flare, and again, I was very nervous going in, so I was in full hive mode. I had severe hives all over, and I was itching and scratching. And I remember the dermatologist saying, "Oh, like you're gonna have to live like this forever," and I freaked out. Like I don't want to live like this. I want to go back to work. I want to be normal. I want to do normal things. And I remember scratching so hard. I remember like placing my nails so deep into my arm that it started bleeding, and she gave me maybe about three bandages because it wouldn't stop bleeding, and I couldn't even feel it. That's
Wow.
how stressed I was. Um, I don't. I feel like it was very disheartening. I felt very invisible. So I did that. I did Chinese medicine. I'm pretty sure the other things have helped a little bit. I did Qigong exercises. I did all the different lotions that you've seen online that people have raved about. I've tried all of them. I've bought all of them, and everything burned. I couldn't put anything on my body. I even had it on my scalp too. I had eczema on my scalp. So I tried different shampoos. I tried all these like home remedies. Some worked, some didn't. I did red light therapy. Um, I did go on vacation and I did go to the ocean. I think that was a lot of help as well. Yeah, I can't recall everything, but honestly, if you name something, I probably have tried it.
It's I feel like that's something that so many of us eczema sufferers do because we're so desperate for relief and we want to try anything and everything to help our skin get better.
Yeah, I
And
tried. I really tried everything. And maybe it was a bit of everything. And maybe there were certain things like even diet. I tried to touch on diet as well. And I think diet is super important, but when it's targeted and it's not like just, changing to healthy meals, I think there should be a specific target.
for sure. And you did so much, and I feel like you, it really shows your perseverance and how proactive you were along the way just to find that healing that you needed.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, again, I want to touch on the community. I think just hearing, obviously everybody has different triggers, but it doesn't hurt to try different things to see if it worked. Like again, when I say everything, I changed my bedding completely. I got an air purifier. I got a new shower head, new water filter, like everything. So you get these things from the community calls too. Like I learned a lot, and I shared as much as I could as well, being on those community calls. But I think that was super, super powerful, knowing that I wasn't alone dealing with the same issue.
For sure. And I'm so glad that those calls were able to help you as well.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Abby.
Yeah, no problem. So what would you say was the pivotal moment or the last straw that really made you decide, like, I need help, I need something different, I need to try something, and yeah, what was that pivotal moment?
Okay, so for me, I think when I did go on vacation, and then when I came back, because it was a very far flight, I went to Bali, and coming back from Toronto, that's like 4 flights, and I think 2 days. It took 2 days. My body went severe. Like I could not move after that for maybe months. Like I was
Wow.
completely bedridden, and I think at that point I'm like, okay, I can't stay in the same place as I am. I need to get back to work eventually. I need to see people. I can't be miserable. I don't want to feel this way anymore. Um, to the point where honestly, I was bedridden to the point where I was like, at night, there were some really, really dark days, of course. I remember telling my husband, I don't want to wake up tomorrow. Like, I don't want to wake up in the morning. I'm tired. Like, I feel like a huge burden because you can't do simple everyday tasks anymore. You can't shower, you can't cook meals, you can't do the dishes, I couldn't move. Like, if I tell you, I couldn't move my arms like this or like bend them to the point where if I was holding a cup, I would bend my entire body just to place it down, you know?
That's tough.
So I think the entire, situation just, for me, the turning point was when I was like, okay, you know what? I don't want to live like this anymore. I know there's something that's out there for me that will help me heal. Like, I'm not gonna listen to the people that said that you have to accept it and this is who you are, and there's no cure for eczema.
Yeah, that's actually key because I had been told by doctors before too that, they've said things like, "Oh, your skin is the worst I've ever seen and that it won't heal or it will never heal and I have to be on medications the rest of my life." But if we accept it, it's kind of like we're compromising and settling, whereas I was like you, I wanted to be able to not have to live like this forever in disability and not have to rely on medication. So
Yeah.
it's really nice that you really recognize that there's that breakthrough point as well for you.
Yeah, I definitely remember being on one of the calls and saying, I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I remember one of your team members said, no, I said the same thing, and here I am. So, for
Oh,
anyone listening, I just want to say there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The same thing that I was told, I'm telling you that there is a light. So,
that's amazing. And especially coming from you where you were bedridden before and now you've healed so much too. So you're coming out of the other side.
yeah, 100%.
So when you hit your breaking point or your last straw, did you find it was a tough decision to invest in a different kind of support, especially with us, and especially after you've seen like 14 doctors and tried so many things?
Yeah, I mean, I did try a naturopath here locally. Although she didn't really specialize in eczema, so it was hard for her to kind of understand, which makes Eczema Conquerors um, so much more important to me because everybody on your team understands how brutal this can be, right? They're very empathetic. They can understand. The naturopath that I had seen before, she said I didn't feel like I was um, being as supported as I am with eczema, even to the point where it's burning. I can't, I can't stop touching it.
Oh, Hadil, I think you got
So that
disconnected
was
before.
that.
Could you share what you just shared just now?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Okay. Wait, hold on. What was the question again? Let's go back to
Oh,
this.
yeah. Was it a tough decision to invest in a different kind of support,
Oh
especially with us?
yeah. I mean, honestly, I was so desperate. So for me, investing in this was my number one priority. I didn't care what I had to spend, like whether financially or time. I just wanted to get better. And if this guaranteed that it would, then I was okay with, you know. But again, I wanted to say that I did invest in a naturopath earlier that didn't specialize in eczema. So um, it's always like a hit or miss because you hear a lot of people saying, oh, naturopaths don't really, they don't, you shouldn't follow naturopaths. They don't know as much. They're not going to help you. But to be honest with you, I was always following the natural route anyway. I always preferred that. I wouldn't even take medication. So the first naturopath that I followed, again, she didn't specialize in eczema, where I think to the point where here it was fully red and inflamed and it was burning. And I would tell my naturopath that, hey, like it's burning, like I can't deal with it. I just need some relief. And she would say, oh, well, you just stop touching it. And I'm like, I can't. It feels better when I do. So you need someone to be more empathetic, to understand where you're coming from. And that's why I feel like going with Eczema Conquerors helped me so much, because again, everyone on your team had it and they were very empathetic.
That's helpful to hear. And also, what else did you find was different compared to the experiences you had with your conventional doctors or dermatologists or even the other naturopaths that you worked with in the past?
Well, I felt like, okay, when I found Eczema Conquerors, it finally felt like I wasn't carrying this alone. It wasn't just about creams or diets. It was more so the sense of community, being understood. I needed someone to listen to me, and I felt like the naturopath that I worked with, with Eczema Conquerors, actually took the time to listen and help me shoulder this burden. For the first time the whole journey, I had hope for like a real plan. It didn't involve suppressing my symptoms. It more so got to the root cause. And that's exactly what I wanted. So you guys ran tests. My other naturopath, or even the other previous conventional doctors, none of them would run tests, and I would beg them. I'm like, please just run any test that you can, like anything, patch test, prick test, even though they're not like as accurate. And they tell you that while they're doing these tests, they'll tell you that this isn't as accurate. I just wanted to understand what was going on. What is my body telling me? So just being with Eczema Conquerors and doing all these tests, I was like, I'll pay anything just to have these tests done. I don't care. I just want to get an idea of what's going on. So I'm super, super thankful for whether the hair analysis or the GI mapping. Like, these are also helpful.
That's really helpful to hear. And yes, for those who might not be too familiar with our approach and what you did as well, what stood out the most? Because was it testing or something else that really was different that helped you get to the root cause? Because I know you spent years trying to get to the root.
Yeah. I think for me, it was the coaching calls. Where it felt like, I had one-on-one time, asking all my questions, having to speak to Ben, and Ben allocating a full hour just to hear you out. Like, I didn't have that with conventional. Nobody would even give me the time of day. They'd be like, eczema, okay, here's steroids. There's no cure. But with Ben, he just talks to you about everything. He touches upon the physical part. He touches upon the mental part. Like, he really takes his time to sit with you. So I think that for me was all I wanted. I wanted someone to actually listen to me. So that was big for me.
And I can understand that it's huge, especially since so many of us go through, conventional doctors or dermatologists, and we wait like maybe an hour in the waiting room and only see them for 5 to 10 minutes. So it can be very different.
Yeah, I think for one of the times I went to a different dermatologist, and I was again in full severe eczema, and the guy said, okay, here's steroids, and he gave me like a huge tub of steroids to use. And I said, okay, well, like, can you do any tests or run any tests? And he started yelling at me, and I think at that time my husband was next to me. I stayed quiet, and then I was in full body like hives because I was so nervous. And my husband was like trying to de-escalate the situation. He was like, okay, Pay, no worries. And then we went home, and I just started bawling my eyes out. I was heartbroken. But I didn't take the steroids. I didn't take any of those steroids. Every time they give it to me, I'd buy it and just place it in the closet.
Wow, I can't believe that he actually yelled at you.
Yeah, I was crying. I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to cry. And I was holding it in. It was bad.
No. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's a part of the journey, right? I just remember when I told him, okay, can you test? He's like, we don't do any testings, and if you think that you can read a few things online, and that'll make you feel better, then go ahead. But this is years of research, and I'm telling you, nothing will work except for steroids. So I just bawled my eyes out. I'm like, I'm gonna be
Oh
stuck with this
no.
forever.
That's a classic sign of what not to do as a doctor if you don't want your patient to leave sad and depressed.
Yes, right. I
So,
know.
so did anything surprise you about the healing process? Maybe something you didn't expect or to learn or go through?
Um, I think one of the biggest things was just accepting it. I didn't realize that for me, my mom would always tell me, because she's more on the spiritual side, she'd always tell me, like, you need to accept it, you need to accept it. And I'm like, how do I accept it if I'm bedridden? Like, I don't understand this. Like, you can't keep telling me this. And then meanwhile, I was still reading a lot of things. I was going through a lot of like books and podcasts and all that. And it finally hit me like, okay, if this is the journey that I need to take, then I'm okay with it. Like, a lot of people have it so much worse. And thankfully I've had a great life. Like, if this is the life that I need to live now, then I accept it. And once I, started accepting it, I feel like my healing journey took a turn. I think that was one of the things that really surprised me, just accepting, eczema as it is, but not eczema in general, just like yourself, just accepting yourself and just accepting where you are. I think that was big.
That's so helpful to know. And for yourself, was it difficult to step outside of the insurance system and invest in more holistic approaches? Like, what was it like for you, and what made it worth it in the end?
I mean, I wasn't working at that time, so it definitely was difficult. It was really hard, but again, for me, health was a priority. If I didn't heal myself, I won't ever be able to help myself financially. So, like, to be honest, that was a huge priority for me. Um, but yeah, it was really difficult at that time, because now, in anywhere, maybe anywhere in the world, it's really difficult to survive off one income. I probably was on EI for a bit, so that's employment income, for a little bit before it completely ended. I took probably 8 to 9 month stress leave. So, to the point where halfway through, I didn't have, and I still don't have income at the moment. So it was really, really difficult investing that. But again, for me, my priority was health. So I was willing to do whatever it takes just to be able to move my hands. Like, that's you. Sometimes I'll be folding the laundry and I'm like, wow, like, I wouldn't have been able to do this a few months back. And it's
Wow.
just like the small things you become so grateful for.
For sure, for sure. And I can even see the big smile on your face now as you say that as well.
Yeah.
I remember for myself, like one of the hardest things was my husband felt like a single dad at that time when I was also bedridden, and he was just asking, what am I able to help with around the house so that because he was really good, like
Yeah.
he never complained or anything, but I wanted to help him. And so the only thing I was able to do was take the dishes and put them in the dishwasher, but that was really challenging. Plus, this fear of like getting my hands wet and dirty at that
Yeah.
time too, because my hands were already so cut up. So even something that simple was like the only thing I could do. And so it's tough.
You see, yeah, you feel like you're a burden, Like, I had to bring my mom in to help me clean the house. I say help me, but I couldn't move, so it was like fully her. She'd clean, she'd cook, and then she'd go home because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move.
Mm, for sure. And it's so nice to have them when we do have
Yeah.
like family to help out. But I also remember my in-laws just having to help me vacuum my skin whenever I would stay at their home, like on the weekends or something like that. Yeah, so that was really tough. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's I know that for you, you've gone through a lot too. So what is life like for you now? Not just your skin, but everything else, like confidence, mindset, or even your daily life?
Brian,
Oh, there you are. There you are. No worries. Got disconnect. Glad it worked. I think we're near the end, but I'm glad we're able to get through most of it. So yeah, I was just asking. So what's life like now for you? Not just for your skin, but your confidence, mindset, or even your daily life.
I think that like I definitely have seen. Look, I learned a lot about resilience, right? I realized I'm a lot stronger than I pretty much, if I've dealt with eczema, and it's taught me they the biggest or most ultimate form of self-acceptance. I feel like now I can literally tackle anything. If I've dealt with that, trust me, I can deal with anything else. I'm a lot more confident now. I to be like, again, I feel like I was so shy. I was such a people pleaser. I would never in 1,000 years be so talkative. I definitely am, or I have a lot more of a voice now, whereas before I would just stay quiet, protect the peace, but I didn't really know that protecting the peace meant that protecting other people's peace and not my own. So I think that was a big part. Like I found my voice, and I can it forced me into having more of a voice. Resilience as well. I think that I know that I'm capable of healing myself, and that I'm capable of anything. And I'm not saying myself, like obviously I had help, I had you guys, so thank God for that. And just self acceptance, I think, were the three biggest things that I would say that I've learned. Just accepting myself.
Wow, that's already a really big revelation,
Yeah,
because when we do go through eczema, it exposes a lot of gaps of, how we feel about ourselves and things we
yeah,
go through. But it's so nice that it seems like you've come out of the other end, not just with your skin, but also better in terms of your confidence and your mindset as well.
yeah, 100%. I'm honestly, I feel like it was a blessing in disguise, because I don't think I would have learned these lessons had I not gone through that. I genuinely am so lucky and so blessed to have gone through that. Like I'm glad I'm on the other side saying that, but I think that it was the biggest form of a huge learning lesson in my life, because I'm telling you, I was a huge people pleaser. And now I don't, obviously it's a mental thing where you have to practice it every day, but it's like I have a voice and I will speak up when I need to speak up, you know?
That's so good. Especially because we noticed that some of our clients who flare on their neck, and I can't remember if we talked to you about this, but sometimes when our clients flare on their neck, it's because they feel like they don't have enough of a voice to speak their
That's
mind or express. So it's nice you're able to now.
yeah, it's funny because anytime I saw that shift, it's like when I started to heal and it started to go away, was when I started to feel like I have a voice and I'm going to use it. So,
Wow, that's great.
yeah, that's actually crazy. I didn't know that. I just know that Ben did tell me that if you have suppressed anger, you'll find it in your liver. And that's where I found out that I had a lot of issues. So he's like, you'll need to work on that to see a lot of healing. And I did. Like, I did a lot of mental work to actually get myself out of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that for a second. And I know we're near the end, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's dive into the mental work, because you were saying earlier when we started that you visualize this,
Yeah.
being here on this podcast, but you also visualize your healing, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
tell me more about the process, like everything that you were into and that you did and how it got you to where you are now.
So I had a very strict morning routine that I honestly enjoyed doing too. So I'd wake up, and as soon as I'd wake up, I'd go meditate, and I would listen to some. It would differ. Sometimes it was Wayne Dyer, sometimes Joe Dispenza, all these gurus, and I would do a meditation for 10-15 minutes. Most of them were very like healing meditations where I'd imagine a white light that would reduce the inflammation in my body, and then I'd imagine myself looking at my arms and looking at my feet and my legs and my entire body and not see anything, like see it clear. And thankfully I am. So I would keep imagining that, and I was doing that consistently every day. And then after that, I would do red light therapy. And while I'm doing red light, of like tapping, doing EFT tappings. And then after that, I would start like numbering. First, it was hard. I would number 5 things that I'm grateful for, and then the list would get bigger and bigger because there were honestly so many things. I read a lot of self-help books, a lot of Joe Dispenza, a lot of Wayne Dyer, a lot of Louise Hay. Um, I did a lot of that. And even going to bed, I would listen to a lot of things that I wanted to program myself subconsciously. So I would go to sleep listening to their voices of saying that I am accepting myself for who I am. I am, like all these affirmations. I did get closer to God in a way because I felt like I was just relying on Him. So I feel like this whole journey, and not religiously, but very spiritually, I feel like it got me closer to God for sure. So
Oh, that's great. Yeah, same thing for me. Was like it definitely helped me grow in my faith and get to feel closer to God as well, because when you have no one to rely on,
yeah,
yeah, God was like the only thing that I felt like was there.
yeah, I know it's crazy. Honestly, I'm so thankful. Truly, Abby. Honestly, I feel like this was a huge learning lesson that I'm so grateful for because I don't think I can ever go back to being the person that I was before this flare.
Wow. And that really just shows your growth as well.
Yeah. I'm
Oh.
telling you, even being on a podcast and speaking, I would be too shy to do something like this.
Oh. So
And then,
this has become like a milestone in your healing journey, because now that
yeah,
you've reached it, you know that you've come out of the other side.
yeah, 100%. It feels
Uh,
so good to be on the other side.
and I'm gonna share some of like your before and after photos too, because
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that you had gone through a lot, especially with just like the flares and
yeah.
everything. So yeah, let me just quickly
Show
share.
the
I'm gonna
worst ones. Be
Yeah,
worse.
this one with your hand, and then this one's kind of upside down, so hopefully
This
people can still make out what it looks like. But yeah, your collarbone was like all red, and then oh, this is all the same, and your arms and your collarbone. So
It was
yeah.
around my knees and my legs too, but I didn't really take photos of that. But yeah, this
Okay.
my eyes fully, my face, like my forehead, under my
Uh,
chin, it was bad.
Wow, your eyes look so much different, and it looks so good now. Like you don't
Yeah,
have the redness under your eyes.
I know.
Oh, I'm really proud of you, Hadil, and you've overcome so much, and you've gone through so much as well.
Honestly, I could speak about my healing journey so much. Anytime anybody asks me, I'm like, you need to like slot in like 2-3 hours just to tell you because I'm so
Wow.
passionate about it now.
For sure. We could always do a part two as well if you ever have more things to share, because I'm sure our community would love to hear
Yeah,
about it.
of course.
Any last things or words that you want to say?
Yeah, I want to say that your symptoms are just messengers that. So just be patient with your body. It's not fighting you, it's not attacking you, it's fighting for you. And as soon as you realize you're not fighting with your body, you're fighting with it, I think there will be a huge shift in your healing.
That's a really great reminder, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, Abby. Thank you to your team as well throughout this entire journey. I honestly don't think that I would be here if it weren't for you guys to help me through this entire healing journey.
You're very welcome. And of course, you did the most work too. So kudos to you, because you're the one who eventually really followed the plan, the protocol, and you're the one who made your body do its magic and get you to where you are. So we're also so grateful for you, and yeah, really proud of your healing and your journey and where you're at.
Thank you so much, Abby. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, our pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and we hope you have a great day.
Thank you.